Hello, Star Wolves. I have a new episode of Mystery Science Theater Reviews, and this time around we're doing a new box set. This is box set 24. And this is featuring some episodes I've been waiting for quite a while. And this is, you could almost argue this is the Sandy Frank one. This features Fugitive Alien, Star Force, let's see, Fugitive Alien, Star Force, Fugitive Alien 2, Samson and the versus the Vampire Women, and The Sword and the Dragon. And these all, of course, feature mini posters by Steve Vance. Right here, that are just rendered beautifully, that look like old kind of 50s B-movie posters, and they're just terrific. They all feature like Servo and Crow, kind of in character, you know, thrown into the movies and stuff like that. Boy, they're fun. I enjoy these a lot. Although I never really put them on my wall, I just kind of keep them in box sets. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where to put them. Like, I'd probably plaster them everywhere and they get ruined. I prefer them in the box. But this features one of my favorite episodes. Actually, a couple of my favorite episodes, come to think of it. Fugitive Alien is one of my all-time favorite episodes. It's definitely, if I had a top 10, if I was able to make one, this would definitely be in there. Probably high up there, probably within the top 5. And then, of course, it features the sequel. Now, of course, for those of you who don't know, Fugitive Alien is not really a couple of movies. It's a TV show from Japan that was called Star Wolf. And it was kind of a spacey Star Wars Battlestar Galactica knockoff. It was actually based on I guess, obscure Japanese novel. I wasn't sure if it was too popular or not. And it was turned into a TV series that ran 26 episodes. And producer Sandy Frank in America found it and had it edited up into 2 movies and released it on video or you know, for TV or something like that. And you know, it gets away pretty decently in the first one, but in the second one it gets really choppy. I think during the second half of the movie it gets really kind of... it's hard to keep up. It's like a Grant Morrison comic. It's like, oh, what? Wait, did I miss something? Do we need to have readings on this? Anyway, this is an early episode. Well, not too early. This is like season 3, I think, which is one of the better seasons, actually, of Mst3K. It's a Joel episode, and this episode opens with the farm animal bit, where Joel's getting some kind of weird, crazy fantasy, and he's dressing up as farm animals or something like that. This also features Mike Nelson's first appearance as Jack Perkins, the A&E host, who's oddly cheerful. And what's hilarious is he appears alongside of Dr. Forrester and Frank, and he interrupts to talk about really nonsense, really trivial, you know, trivial things, and they torture him. It's funny as hell. And then also on this disc is a couple of bonuses, actually. Let's see, Geek Critic August Ragon talks about the whole Fugitive Alien thing. He knows quite a bit about this, a little bit more than I do, actually, and he's quite entertaining to listen to. And the Mst3K Hour Wraps, which features Mike Nelson as Jack Perkins pretending to host the best of Mst3K. If you skipped over these and past this, you really shouldn't. It's a really interesting thing. Comedy Central wanted to show more Mst3K, and they wanted to do sort of an hour kind of show, but they agreed upon, like, oh, why don't we just split the episodes in half and we do some kind of weird kind of host thing. And that gave Mike Nelson an excuse to do Jack Perkins more, which is hilarious. I can't get enough of his Jack Perkins. Anyway, the riffs on this one are so good. And actually, here's the thing. When they did the show originally on the UHF station, back before they got on the Comedy Channel, they did a number of movies, and one of them was the two Fugitive Alien movies. So they were all ready for this one, and you can tell. I mean, this is one of the best riffed episodes in the first few seasons. Actually, the jokes are so on target, and the riffs are just right on after each other. There was a great rhythm. You can always tell the better episodes because the jokes just have a great rhythm to them, and that's definitely in this one. Oh my God, there's the jokes about the music, jokes about the characters named Ken. There's Battlestar Galactica jokes, Doctor Who jokes. It is all over the map, and this is one of the best written episodes, I think. Love this one a lot. This is definitely, if all these other episodes sucked, this would have been reason enough to get it. But guess what? The others aren't bad either. Let's move on to those, shall we? Star Force Fugitive Alien 2 is the second half of the series that was turned into a sort of a sequel. And the movie, like I said, is okay for a while, and then you just kind of lose track because I guess they had to do what they can to chop it up enough to be in a movie. Now, to be honest, what they should have done was left out that whole black hole sequence, which was probably a full episode or something like that. I mean, it's a little pointless for the whole narration of the series. So, I mean, they could have cut that out, and they could have had a little more time with the material dealing with Ken's mom in the second half of this movie. So, I don't know. Well, hey, whatever. But this episode is quite good because, well, first off, this episode starts with a wonderful host sequence where Crow and Tom are discussing puppetry and what makes a puppet versus a costume versus a Muppet. And one of the things I liked about this series was every once in a while it would have, the Muppets seem to have like this reverence of history in the way they talked about, I don't know, sort of their ancestors. They would talk about robots and old movies and TV shows, and they talk about puppets. Even though they're not acknowledging that there are puppets, but that's kind of what they would do, and that's what they're doing in this one, which is hilarious. They talk about Ralph the dog and Meow Meow Kitty, and it's I just love this opening sequence. The invention exchange is okay. It's just big body parts. I don't know what the hell they were thinking of that week. And the riffs are okay as well. And what's interesting is they're all familiar with this cast of characters and the story setting, so they're just right on board. And it's funny because a lot of the jokes seem to be they're tired of them. They're done. They're over. It's like, let's get it on. But actually, I'll be honest, I kind of dig the whole Fugitive Alien thing. I'd be interested to see this as a box set of uncut of the actual series. It's actually not terrible. It is fun to make fun of, though, especially the music. And in the two Fugitive Alien episodes, this is where the forklift song came along, where there's a sequence where one of the characters, Rocky, tests Ken, the hero, by trying to kill him with a forklift, and he stops him. And see, Rocky suspected that he was an alien. He was a star wolf, and those guys have super strength. So he tries to crush him with the forklift, and he pushes it back, and they chase around. And there's this jumpy music that just like gets going, and Joel and the bots just start singing this song. That is the most catchiest thing ever, and you just can't help but smile when you think of it or sing it. And if you sing it to another Misty, all day they're going to be thinking about that song. Oh, I dig it. It's funny, I had a friend who got her forklift license, and I sent her the video of that sequence, and she said, "Damn you! I'll be thinking of that all day." Oh, this is a wonderful follow-up. Definitely watch this after the first one. Believe me, some of the jokes make more sense. Now, we go to, let's see, I think this is season 6 episode. Samson versus the Vampire Women, which is a weirdo Mexican movie about a Mexican wrestler fighting vampire women who are trying to turn this young rich girl into a vampire so she can replace their queen, because the queen has to go to hell and join Satan by his side. Okay. And they want, and of course the rich guy who looks like Alfred from the Batman '60s series, and he talks like this all the time. You know, Samson, can you help me? And I enjoy that voice a lot. And it's such a weird... What's funny is there's no mention of Samson. By the way, his real name is El Santo, but they called him Samson for the American dub of this. And there's no mention or reference to him at all until he enters the scene like 40 minutes in or something like that. And the second he enters, like, Crow just bursts out laughing. And it's so priceless to watch. You know, it's not even like, they don't even have a joke for that. He's just like, hello, and he's like in his panties and a cape and a mask, and he just enters the scene. And there's like no mention whatsoever of this thing going on. The Mexican wrestler thing is a completely different thing. That's totally part of that culture, and you just get it or you don't. And it's a lot of fun to make fun of, especially when you have them fight vampires. The riffing is just so good in this one. This is one of the better riffed episodes because there's just so much goofy stuff to make fun of. There's like, you know, vampire women, and there's a Mexican wrestler, and there's guys with goofy voices. And there's just some strange little moments, too. People just hopping up and down in scenes. There's just... it's one of those episodes where the movie just gives and gives and gives, and they take it and go all the way with it. And, of course, one of the most significant things about this episode is this is Frank Conniff's last episode in the series. He went off to become a writer in L.A. He went to write for Sabrina the Teen Witch and... Zim, the Invader Zim, excuse me. He went to write for Invader Zim. I don't know if you know that, but TV's Frank became a writer for that. Let's see, now he's working with the gang again with Cinematic Titanic. It's kind of sad, you know. They even make sort of a reference to something going on in the first episode, even though in the first sequence where they don't even know what's going on, but they still, and you know, even though Frank's like this evil villain in the show, it's still really touching. Forrester has a song paying tribute to Frank after he departs, and about, you know, who will I kill now that he's gone. It's a sad. There's some sad moments in the episode, but oh boy, this is great. And lastly, The Sword and the Dragon, which is one of their weirdo Finnish, Russian, Scandinavian type movies. And it is about Ilya Mulamed, who is this great hero who, you know, he has this mighty steed, and he protects the country from the Tugars, and he's betrayed and put to prison while the Tugars, you know, ready their forces and are going to attack. The visuals in this is really great. You know, this is one of those films that, you know, it looks cool, and it's not really a bad movie, but it's such an odd film that you just can't help but, you know, riff on and have fun. It's a very entertaining movie, and there is a sequence with the Wind Demon that I think just delighted the writers on this show. They just kept referencing to it, and it's even in the menu. By the way, the menus, incidentally, have gotten better and better each time around, and sometimes they're entertaining on their own. Particular ones is the Fugitive Alien menu is just hilarious, and the Samson versus the Vampire Women and Sword and Dragon ones are also good. The Star Forest is not bad either, where they take animated Crow and Toms, and they use the voices from the show, and you know, they very cleverly edit them in and sort of make these own little like skits. And they've gotten more and more advanced every box set too. So I mean, they are worth watching. Don't blow through them clicking onto the menus. Watch them for a minute. Also, some before I go, there's also some other features. There's 2 bonus shorts on Sword and the Dragon, Snow Thrills and A Date with Your Family, which are great. I hadn't seen Snow Thrills in a long time. It's some weird short about, I don't know, snow sports or something. And A Date with Your Family is one of those classic 50s era kind of family programming social videos, and it's terrible, and they have a lot of fun with it. Also, on Samson versus the Vampire Women appropriately is a Life After Mst3K, where Frank Conniff discusses things he's done since then. And there's this wonderful G. Gordon Liddy meets Santo documentary, which it captures kind of behind the scenes of this film, as well as a TV spot for it. And and Star Force Fugitive Alien 2 has an interview with Sandy Frank. Yes. See, one of the things about Sandy Frank was he didn't seem to really care much for the treatment of his work on Mystery Science Theater, and you get the feeling he regretted and was really mad. Well, partly because I think after a few episodes they started making fun of him personally, and I think maybe he took it personally. I think particularly in Time of the Apes they made some cracks about him. And he's, he actually, to be honest, personally for me, he's actually done some, important work, because he brought Gotcha Man over to the States as Battle of the Planets and re-edited that for TV and stuff like that. He also, was the money man behind a lot of shows you've heard of, like Name That Tune and You Asked For It and stuff like that. He's actually more of a money guy, producer, rather than somebody really creative. And he has a huge history going back. The conversation, I guess, probably was one of the things that really kind of got him to just okay, because that's one of the things I heard, that Rhino was having trouble getting the rights to the episodes that were involved with his work, because he wasn't like letting them use it because he was pissed. I guess Shout Factory was able to work a deal. Maybe that's partly why we had the interview. But you can tell in the interview when he gets to Mst3K, he's really not that cool with it. He tries to put up a good front, but he's like, yeah, I guess it's cute and stuff like that. It's like, I could tell you really don't like it, but it's very funny to listen to that part. Anyway, this is box set 24. Oh my god, this is a great set. This is probably one of the best sets they've done, period. Highly recommend this one if you're slightly curious about Mst3K or is a big fan. Don't miss this set. This is 5 RAM chips, easy. Anyway, that's it. Push the button, Lindsay.